right, and we are back for round number 4. This time, Prophecy versus Barbarians. Actually, sorry, Prophecy versus TK, with Prophecy killing against TK's survivor team. There we go. And we're here on the Cold Tower with Trapper as the killer.
Ooh, I love a good Trapper match. Trapper matches to me feel like some of the only killers that can really give you a pretty good jump scare, because some trappers put traps in the weirdest spots and you're always like, why is there a trap here? So I'm thrilled about this. I love watching Trapper gameplay. I think it's so silly and so fun.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing that I like about the M1 killer is it really does demonstrate who understands the core competencies of the game. You know, really good at mind gaming, understanding loops, understanding distance, and so on. And we sometimes do see the Trapper using their trap as well, but we've actually seen some of the best Trapper games where they don't use any trap at all, and they're just like a vanilla M1 killer.
That is so fascinating to me. I am excited to see what our killer here does, what the strat is, how they play it. I'm just excited. Like I said, I'm just excited for Trapper gameplay.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a very fun time. That being said, looks like Claudia is now in chase, but only for a short while. We do see Claudia kind of jumping down that hill there, and looks like Trapper just not committing to any one chase just yet, but could be that we're seeing one here.
And it looks like he has spotted our Nancy. Tricky Nancy. Gonna be taking him for a little bit of a ride, and we'll see how this plays out. Looks like we're gonna be heading over towards Shack. Always an advantageous spot for our survivors. Bypassing though, and heading over towards some of the other structures.
Yeah, actually, so it is not going to be Nancy, but Claudette, in fact, going to be seeing Bamboozle right there, where Trapper going to lock down that window, but they do have access to this pallet here, dropping it a little bit early. Bamboozle will be deactivating here in just a few seconds, but Trapper going to be cutting the Claudette off, going to be mind gaming here. We saw the Trapper's red light. Claudette with the light, gaining a little bit of extra distance as well, but looks like Trapper may have... No, it looks like Jay coming in for the body block, but Trapper just not caring.
No, he is hard fixated on, as you said, that Claudette, not Nancy. Sorry, this map's a little bit dark on my monitor and I had a hard time seeing. And he is just gonna continue to pursue our Claude. And it looks like he's gonna get the down. A nice first down. The survivors do have one generator down, but you know, it's early games. This could be anyone's win here.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. If we're taking a look at gen progression, we do see Nia pretty well progressed there on the Shack gen. Could be why the Claudette decided not to go back to Shack, instead allowing the Nia to complete their gen. As far as perks are concerned on Trapper, of course, we did see Bamboozle, Corrupted Dimension, and now Scourge Choke, Pain Resonance. Last perk still a little bit of an unknown, though Nia now in chase, as we do see Sprint Burst proc in there, getting them a ton of free distance. And it looks like Trapper may have drop chased instead. Might be going for tunnel out here on the Claudette.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, that's a pretty good way to go. Sorry, I have to cough. I'm sorry.
Oh, good. As Trapper's still in chase of Claudette. Claudette getting back to the window. Keep in mind that Bamboozle will lock that down if the Trapper does vault it. However, Lithe getting Claudette the distance they need, and the pallet's done to boot. And with that pallet now gone, though, means that main is a little bit weaker unless you do have bounce landing in hand. Ace now, though, the one in chase, taking a hit as well. Probably a little bit of surprise there, as I do not believe they had an inclination that the Trapper was there. However, another 2 gens popping off, 2 remaining before these survivors are able to power the exit gate and exit the entity's realm.
Claude did an excellent job with that chase, and Ace is also doing a good job as well. We see the Nea coming in for a great body block there, taking a little bit of that aggro to give our Ace some time to make a little bit more distance, preventing that down from happening just a little bit sooner, which is kind of the name of the game at this point. It's just how long can you extend chase, how long can you give your fellow survivors to get those gens done.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're seeing it right now as Ace doing a fantastic job kind of holding out for these Trappers mind games. And it's kind of what I'm talking about. Like, it really comes down to the core competencies of the player being able to understand how to mind game and mind game better than the Survivor here, who's obviously holding that third person perspective. We see the Trapper trying to mind game, doing their best, but Survivor just doing that much better, though, getting mind game there, and that there will be first down for Ace, though 4th gen for these Survivors has been completed, and we do see 2 Survivors up there on the main building. Looks like some toolboxes being used here. Deja Vu as well was regressed by 25% with the Skirt Choke Pain Resistance, bringing it down to about 50% now.
Still, though, making some good speed, but it looks like our Trapper friend is aware of what's going on. The jig is up, and he is going to be doing his best to put a stop to that progression on the gen, going after this Nia, who he tagged earlier when they took chase for the Ace. Looks like they're actually not going to pursue them.
Yeah, a little bit surprising there, especially as Nia is injured and has yet to be hooked, so I was very much expecting him to do so, though looks like not the case. We do see Ace and Jake here on this gen, about 75% of the way through. Claudia kind of hanging out back over towards main, looking around for some traps maybe, and looks like we do see Trapper, I think, push Ace and Jake off their gen. Yeah, looks like they have been pushed off their gen. We do see Trapper starting to chase the Jake here.
Yeah, and as we saw just a second ago, it looked like the Nia and the Claude went back up to that main building to try and get that gen done, while Jake takes chase, or not.
No, Trapper kind of playing a little bit defensively here, maybe too much so, as Nia is going to be the one chased once again. But I think at this point in time, we are going to see that 5th gen popping off regardless.
Yeah, I think unfortunately they had 2 generators with enough progress that our Trapper could have potentially benefited from, you know, picking one person and focusing them down and getting a hook, especially when you've got a couple Survivors who are fresh hook. You know, using the hook Survivors as a bit of leverage to bait other Survivors in. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out.
Well, Survivors going to open the gate pretty much immediately, though. It looks like, actually, trying to think there, was that enough time for Survivors? I don't see any of them near the gate either. I'm wondering if maybe that was the Trapper for whatever reason.
Huh.
Yeah, like, I see the Survivors here. Maybe it was them. Maybe they're just trying to start EGC to kind of pressure the Survivors. We do see the haste status effect from Noed here on Trapper. Jake now in chase. Yeah, I'm wondering if that was like maybe a strategic move there by the Trapper there to start the kill timer. And I mean, they've slugged out Ace here, and trying to see where else they are going. They're trying to scope out, see if there's any Survivors nearby.
Yeah, we did see Ace use Dead Hard just now in an attempt to tank a hit for the Jake, but unfortunately the timing was just a little bit off. Looks like Nia's gonna get him up off the ground, though. I think it's reasonable that we could get a 4-man out here. Potentially, it depends on how long this Jake can keep the Trapper busy without going down, but it looks like this is gonna be pretty close.
Yeah, unfortunately for them, Noah's still in place, that there will be a 3-man out. Maybe a strategic move from the Trapper, understanding that they need more hook states. I mean, I'm expecting both sides to have completed 5 gens. It really comes down to hook states and number of escapes thereafter. But we'll have to wait and see what the result of that second half of the set is in just one moment, as we will be streaming that as well with TK on Trapper versus Prophecy Survivor Team. With that being said, folks, we are going to get that set up in just one moment. But before we do, we do remind everyone here today that you, yes, you, the viewers, are our sponsors. All right, and we're back with set number 2. This time we have TK killing against Prophecy Survivor Team, and it is Metox killing as the Trapper this time around.
And it looks like he is going to be doing some trap setting, so I'll be interested to see if he can lure anybody into his snares.
Yeah, it definitely is a little bit uncommon for us to see Survivors trapped by the Trapper here in comp, though when it does happen, it definitely can swing a match in the killer's favor, so we'll have to wait and see as Survivor's slowly but surely working on these initial generators, and looks like we do have Nancy here going to be the first in chase.
Yeah, absolutely. These survivors know what they're doing. They have played a lot of Dead by Daylight. Getting caught in a trap, trapping these survivors is going to be especially tricky. But it's not impossible, and it does happen.
Yeah, and looks like we do have Tap now. Was Nancy there for a second, though, but now Tap Sprint is getting them a little bit of distance to the next tile. And Tap kind of worried about traps. We saw the Trapper trapping and see another one there. So Tap being very careful around these loops, a bit skittish, in fact, especially with this tall grass on Macmillan maps. Gonna make it difficult for these survivors to see them in time.
Yeah, playing Trapper on Macmillan is such kind of an advantage in a lot of ways because of this tall grass. It's so hard to see the traps. The map is also fairly dark, so with the combination of those two things, seeing traps is going to be a lot tougher for the survivors. They are going to have to play safer. They are going to have to be very aware of where the traps are going down. Communication between survivors, especially if one survivor sees a trap being placed and another doesn't, is going to be so key for chases in this match.
Yeah, absolutely. Pre-jump there from the Tap. We see Trapper hide the red light there for a second there, try and get a little bit of mind game in. First gen for these fires has completed. Trapper trying to mind game here. Let's see if it works out for them as they are hiding the red stain. We see the Tap vaults, but no vault back. Looks like Trapper just going to go for the break-in. This is what I'm talking about. This is what really determines who wins this set, is just kind of the core mechanical gameplay of, do you know how to mind game effectively? Can you kind of work through the body blocks that are eventually going to come in, as we saw Dwight nearby too, I imagine, primed and ready for a body block here. We do see the vault there from Tap, but the swing and a miss from Trapper. We are seeing some incredible exercises in patience here from our Tap. He is just saying, you know what? I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna let him dictate this, and I'm just gonna react as best I can, because the way that he just stood and chilled and kept his cool absolutely allowed him to keep that chase going longer. Really nice coming in by the Dwight to get that body block and take a little bit of the pressure off of our Tap. Yeah, absolutely. And we do see that the trap that was here has been disarmed. A light there from Dwight will get them over the pallet, but the Trapper will end up getting them. Also want to point out a perk that got revealed there, that of course being a forced penance. As we see Dwight broken there. As far as other perks are concerned, I think the only two that have been revealed so far had been forced penance as well as bamboozle. Those two still a little bit of an unknown.
Always concerning when you can only figure out one or two of the killer's perks by this point, because you have to start thinking end game. You know, what are they gonna have? What's gonna prevent us from getting everybody out? So it's always a little bit nerve-wracking.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We do see Nancy here with Deja Vu in hand with that additional progression on that gen, about 50% of the way. Tap kind of holding out, seeing if they can get in with the unhook here, and sure enough, looks like they will.
And looks like we have 3 gens done. We have one over here that's got a goodly amount of progression. And it looks like, well, there was a little bit of, I wasn't sure what was going to happen. I wasn't sure if Tap was going to go for a heal there, or if Dwight was going to get on the gen with Tap. I don't know.
Yeah, it looked like there's a bit of back and forth there as well. I think the forced penance kind of confusing the two of them. We do see that moonwalk there from Trapper behind the red stain, but Tap with the positioning on point, just being able to see the Trapper in real time. We do see them moving into main, so I imagine Trapper might jump over to Dwight, and sure enough, there they are.
Yeah, you know, at this point, going for the injured survivor when you've got 4 gens down and 4 survivors still in the game. Oh, maybe not. It looks like he's leaving.
Yeah, and for good reason, actually. Trapper may have sensed something was off without that pre-drop, and it was in fact because the Dwight did have off the record in hand.
One thing I want to note was that as soon as that last gen popped, we saw our survivors over by the gates, ready to either get them going or at the very least proc no way out if that was going to be in play. The sooner you get it procced, the sooner it's gone. And there it is. We do indeed have no ad.
Yeah, as well as no way out as well, though with only one hook that I believe was only 24 seconds or so, and survivors already on their way out the exit gate. Trapper going to be making their way over, but not in time, unfortunately, even with that haste increase. And so it'll be a 3-man out here, though looks like survivors not leaving just yet, and looks like a potential pickup as well. Looks like that was an unbreakable there from Tap. We do see Nancy go down. They do get pushed out of the exit gate. Dwight along with them, though. Okay, I was about to say they hadn't gone out just yet, and it looks like Tap will be able to open up this exit gate, and this will be a 4-man out for Prophecy survivors. I believe they will walk away victorious here in set number 1. We'll be keeping on with TK killing this time as the Doctor going into set number 2. All right, and we are back for set number 2, round number 4. TK killing as a Doctor against Prophecy's Survivor team, and Prophecy already up 1 set. TK is going to need to win or tie this set in order to force a set number 3.
You know, sometimes having a really clear win condition like that can actually be a pretty big advantage because you know exactly what you need to get done. The downside is it can absolutely influence how you play the match, the style of play. You can get in your head a little bit, but typically when you see teams have such a put-out win condition, I feel like more often than not, they can come through and get it done.
Yeah, absolutely. I would tend to agree with you. And Doctor there with a very quick break of that Shack pallet. I'll have to wait and see if they're able to make use of their power. Once again, this is kind of the make or break of it of can you get the full usage of their power, you know, both in tiering people up into Madness Tier 3, but also in just reducing the amount of resources that they have available to them. Mind gaming also plays a big factor here, but less so with Doctor.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember when I started playing DBD, Doctor was incredibly popular, and I learned some really hard lessons about looping and windows and pallets and how it interacts with the Doctor's shock ability. And needless to say, it was a very formative time in my DBD life, and it's interesting to see how Doctors play in comp and how there's still a lot of that same technical skill and same what's the word I'm looking for, strategy in terms of how the killers will play here.
Yeah, absolutely. And we do see Doctor with that hit on Ace, but so far Doc just not able to catch up in time match. We're going to see another couple of gens popping off here in just a few moments, and Ace with the drop and Doctor with the break, but not getting any real distance there.
Yeah, this is tough. Our Ace is running really well. You know, our Doctor is doing what they can to catch up, but this Ace is playing incredibly well. Sometimes that's just kind of how it is. Sometimes it's not about more than that. It just comes down to one person is like doing a really, really good job of running or doing a really, really good job of killing. That Ace ran for 2 gens. That's huge for our survivors. It'll be interesting to see if they can continue to capitalize on that momentum or if the Doctor can make a good comeback here.
Yeah, I'll have to wait and see 3 gens in. Nancy on the 4th. Taking a look around, seeing if anyone else is on gens, but does not look to be the case. We do hear Nancy hit by that static blast and Tap going in with a sprint burst for the unhook. And yeah, it's been really interesting seeing kind of the level of comfortability with the different killers, because we've been seeing some really awesome Doctor gameplay where they've been 4King almost consistently. We'll have to wait and see if the Doctor here able to rally back and potentially secure a 4K here. Does successfully get the stun there as well as the hit. So good pressure there from the Doctor in chase with Nancy.
Yeah, Nancy also doing a really good job just continuing to occupy our killer, giving her teammates as much time as possible to get gens done. We also see she's the only one injured right now, which is also a really great place to be. I imagine we'll see another gen popping maybe in the next 30 seconds or so.
Yeah, that would be likely. If we take a look at this gen, about 66% of the way through. It looks like they did drop off Ace on another gen, starting up maybe a fifth of the way through on that one. We'll have to wait and see what this looks like here in just a few seconds, but we did see, I think, the Doctor almost spotting Dwight, but not quite. Dwight be able to sneak on by, and will get hit by that static blast.
That static blast is nasty. I remember for so long I used to run Calm Spirit religiously just on the off chance that I went against a Doctor because I was so scared of having to run and avoid that static blast.
Yeah, it definitely is something to be wary of. It's interesting how Calm Spirit now kind of fallen out of favor because Doctor really isn't seen all too often, but now falling back in favor because of the use of Ultimate Weapon.
Yeah, 100%. I almost never see Doctor in my pubs matches anymore. So, yeah, I mean, I certainly stopped running it. But you're right, Ultimate Weapon, you know, it has that same benefit of hiding your screams. So it looks like our Ace is going to be able to come in here, potentially take a hit. The Doctor trying so hard to cut him off coming off of that rock, but just not quite quick enough. Really good try by the Dwight, but that was a very clever double back by the Doctor.
Yeah, a really solid mind game there, securing them the down. As far as perks are concerned, because I don't think we've really seen all too many, but as far as perks are concerned right now, we know 3 of them. Scourge Arcane Resonance, we see Grim Embrace, as well as Corrupt Intervention. Last one, still a little bit of an unknown. It looks like we do see tap here. Doctor going for a bit of mind game. Will shock the tap, but a sprint burst going to be getting them some additional distance here. I will note that tap has yet to be hooked, so this is a fantastic chase if they're able to get the down before these last 2 gens are completed.
Yeah, and that's the question, is if it can happen. Like we said, there's probably real good progress on 1 or 2 gens somewhere out there. Our survivors have been doing a really, really good job of, you know, taking long chases and focusing on getting gens done. We do see the Dwight and Nancy are both injured, so the tap has to be a little bit careful about running around them. But they are doing a fantastic job. Looks like they're going to be taking that hit, using that momentum to get them over towards Shaq. And those last 2 gens pop just like that. Really well done. We do see Noed coming into play, but a really excellent job by our survivors.
Yeah, absolutely. And looks like tap will be put on the hook for the first time. Noed here right next to where the hook is going to be, it would seem. I would be surprised if the Doctor didn't just decide to camp this out, secure the 1K as well as the 2 additional hooks, though it looks like even the survivors potentially setting up for a 3-man out here.
Yeah, I mean, you could go back in and go for that rescue, but honestly, they don't need to. They might as well just take the 3-man out.
Yeah, absolutely. Doctor kind of looking around, seeing if there's anyone else here. We see the Dwight still hanging around. Not sure why, though we do see that luck chance on the unhook, as well as sprint burst from the and the deliverance. That there is going to be the hatch escape for the tap and the 4-man out along with it.
Wow, that was an excellent setup by the survivors. Really, really clever. Well done.
All right. And we are back for what could be the final trial of this match, as TK is going to need to get a better score than Prophecy here and force a set 3. Otherwise, if Prophecy, I think, I'm fairly certain, as long as they get, was it more than 4 hooks, so 5 hooks in total, regardless of number of kills, I think Prophecy will walk away victorious.
And that's a doable goal that is definitely not impossible. We're going to have to see how well each side plays, but it looks like we have Gabriel, could not remember his name, Gabriel on the run right now from the Doctor, having taken a hit, but doing a pretty good job.
So, looks like Gabe is not Gabe, though I'm blanking out on their name as well. This is from the Singularity chapter. And looks like we will get a body block from Claudette here, who will end up taking the hit, extending this chase just a little bit. Survivors know full well that they cannot afford any downs, because if the Doctor were to theoretically camp the Survivor to death, that would still be 3 hooks there alone, and Doctor would only need 2 more thereafter. And looks like we'll get the vault at the LT wall. Mind game for the Doctor in a mid vault, which is a gift to every killer, will result in the down.
Really nicely done. 5 gens still up. First hook, always a really good start to a match.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's take a look around as far as the gens are concerned. Looks like that may have been a dead man switch, Scourge Hook Pain Resonance. Let's confirm. And that was just a dead man switch. No Scourge Hook Pain Resonance. Looks like Claudia actually missed the skill check on their gen, forcing them off of it and allowing the Doctor to know exactly where they are. And looks like we will get that Static Blast, getting the Doctor a little bit more information. The gen here by Ace almost completed, but Grim Embrace going to make things a little bit more difficult. As far as the last perk is concerned, still a little bit of an unknown. Very possibly another NOED, as we have seen that on pretty much all of the M1 killers so far this match.
Yeah, and Grim Embrace NOED is kind of an interesting an interesting combination, because inherently there's this impetus to do the totems so that you don't have to deal with NOED in endgame, but by doing those totems you are actively harming yourself with Grim Embrace. It's definitely an interesting perk, and you have to weigh those kind of those options, like what's going to be worse for us in the end. And I think a lot of times just having to deal with the NOED is sort of more preferable, which is something I never thought I would say.
Yes, indeed. And 2 hooks in, and looks like we are going to see a chase here. There's the LT wall. They will get the distance they need, and looks like they also do have off the record in hand. Doctor may not be aware of that as of yet. Well, let's wait and see if that plays any factors here. I mean, it's also possible the chase just takes that long, but Doctor now is dropping chase, it would seem. Not sure if they're going for someone else in specific, but no, they found the ace, I think.
Yeah, Ace also injured. Oh, veering off from there as well. Looks like Nia is potentially going to get a heal on the Ace. Back onto the Gabriel. And it looks like we are going to commit this time.
Yeah, looks like indeed, though. Off the record, slow but surely taking down. The Survivor is surprisingly can't play too good here. Otherwise, their off the record will in fact end before they take a hit.
Yeah, off the record is a tricky perk to kind of balance as Survivor, as you're saying just now.
And there is off the record hit, so Doctor will know that is there, though if they do go down, it will not really matter, as they will be sent back to Campfire via the entity. And also, no, you are correct, it is Gabriel. I was mistaken, as I'm thinking of Jonah for some reason, so I got them mixed up in my head.
Oh no, you're good. I was just like, I swear that's what his name is, but
like,
that's okay.
The skin looks like Jonah, that's why my head was like, no, that's not Gabriel, that's the other one who I was thinking was Jonah. Yeah, you know, sometimes the skins, especially as now they have skins of other survivors in the game, they just confuse me at this point.
Yeah, that's true. DVD is definitely doing some interesting stuff with skins, especially like skins of characters cosplaying other characters, and it's easy to get confused.
Yeah, 1000%. But third gen going off for these survivors. We do see the body block here for the ace for Gabriel here, but looks like Doctor will persist. We see Ace there as well, still in the wings for the body block, though Gabriel kind of blocked out here. They will get to the pallet in time. Fourth gen popping off for these survivors. This is going to be really close, because here's the problem right now, is if they get the Gabriel down, if they do kill them, then they only need one more down, one more kill, and no one would secure that if they do have that in hand, but looks like they will go for Ace here. We saw that gen briefly, almost completed. Ace here in main. Nia coming in for the body block. These survivors doing a fantastic job. This is very possibly going to be a set number 3, unless the Doctor can secure 5 hook states. And actually, now I'm thinking about it, Ace going down or any fresh survivor going down and dying will result in that.
Yeah, this is wild. This is really tense for both sides right now. We do see that adrenaline coming into play, but we don't know yet if NOED is on the line here, so we're gonna have to wait and see. I will say the Gabriel did a fantastic job running, but even more than that, that Ace coming in, body blocking, taking hits, just, you know, distracting. really, really well done by our survivors.
Yeah, absolutely. We do see there that Noed was in fact in play, though was cleansed. Doctor trying to static blast it out, but was not able to in time. Keep in mind, the self-unhooked mechanic, or the anti-camp, is not active during endgame, meaning that the survivors need to regroup, heal up, and get this survivor out the gate, because if they do die, they will result in a loss and a win for Prophecy. So we see them healing up there, I think over by the exit as we speak, but looks like Doctor here finds the Jonah as well. Gonna slug them out because they're better off finding someone like Nia, and I think they might have done just that.
Yeah, this is a really, really rough position. Our survivors honestly played this match incredibly well, but sometimes it kind of all collapses at endgame, and the Doctor quitting chase with the Gabriel to instead pursue that ace and get that hook was absolutely the right move and is definitely paying off.
Yeah, because at this point in time, if they hook any survivor, that will be the 5th hook that they need. They're trying to go in for the unhook before the second stage on the Gabriel. It's going to be a close one here. Doctor will be able to stop them from doing so. Snapping out of it, kind of catch them off guard with the same keybind. And that there is going to be 5 hooks and the win for Prophecy here in set number 2.
Wow, 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 wow. Just excellently finessed by the Doctor at the end of this match. That was incredible. That was wild. And honestly, I still don't know who's gonna make it out of this. Like, they're just playing so well. And unfortunately, as you were saying with survivors, those keybinds are the same, and so that Claude was unable to get that unhook because they accidentally started to break out of it. So, this is a rough endgame for our survivors. Really well played by our Doctor.
Yeah, absolutely. Doctor going for some mind games here over at the shack, trying to trip up the Nia here. And looks like that will be the Claudette going down here at edge map.
Yeah, you know, and as we said in the beginning, oftentimes when you have like this set requirement for what you need to do to come out with a win, we see some nodders there from our Doctor, more often than not, we see the requirements being met. This was one of those times where I was like, oh man, like maybe we spoke a little too soon. The survivors are playing this so well. But in the end, the Doctor was able to think, pause, and realize exactly what they needed to do to make this happen. And they did phenomenally. This was a really good match, played by all. Very, very well played.
Absolutely. With that being said, GG well played to both teams, and congratulations to Prophecy. Welcome to victorious here in round number 4. We'll be letting the teams know here later today who will get the invite to Championship the Fog here on March 30th. But with that being said, folks, that will be the last match for us today.